Hey everyone, have I here been a video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, we're going to be doing our full breakdown and some fun little team builds for the LR Carnival featured Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla Tag Kale. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in. And as usual, we start off with the card arts, and I'll tell you what, it's lackluster in the SSRT art. It starts with Caulifla here. It's okay. The background being green kind of makes it a little odd. I think they could have chosen maybe a little different color. But again, you know, for SSRs and TURs, it's not as important as the LR card arts. And I'll tell you what, the LR card arts are amazing. So you have the Caulifla and Kale on the left-hand side. Of course, Caulifla being front and center, being the initial unit that you're going to be using. And then you go ahead and tag in Kale here, and yeah, pretty awesome. Now, I can see now like the green background and the kind of slightly green aura, like versus the right over here, that kind of doesn't make any sense. I guess maybe they're highlighting, hey, there's going to be a Kale in the unit, but yeah, both of these A+. I would say like the SSRT are like a C. So anyway, enough with the card arts. Let's go ahead and dive into the details in of itself, and actually let's start with looking at the stats. So HP, attack, and defense, pretty standard these days. You have almost 24,000 HP, so 23,788, almost 21,000 in attack, 20,700, and 13,406 for the defense. Link skills, you know, it's going to be the link skills for Kel and Caulifla's. So Super Saiyan, Battlefield Diva, Warriors Order 6, Prepare for Battle, Tournament Power, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, and of course probably the best linking partner. It is the best linking partner is going to be the AGL, Kel and Caulifla LR, and then other Universe 6 units. It's going to be working out fairly well along with that, like a Berserk Kale, things of that nature. Of course, the tech, we don't have the details. So when I'm making this video, we don't have the details yet for the tech Kale and Caulifla. But I'm just going to assume that they're going to be, pretty decent, and it could be run on the team here. But anyway, the other strength of this unit here being a tag unit, and this is where you're going to be seeing a lot of tag units having huge advantage, because the categories that are on are tremendous. Look how many categories they're on, because they're using both Kale and Caulifla as the units that's going to provide all these different categories. Tag units provide that, whereas like and or exchange units don't have all the categories for each of the characters. So you have quite a bit, ranging from Universe 6 tournament participants, gifted warriors, full power, so I'm going to go through some of these category teams, but not all of them, right? Because there's like 170% teams that we're not going to really talk too much about at this point in time, because we're in the 250, 220 meta. Anyway, let's dive into the rest of the details here. So talking about the categories being one of its best features, let's talk about one of the worst features, and that's the leader skill. Now, this is the new LR Carnival units that are running at 220 and 4 key, but they chose Universe 6. Man, I really wish they would have chosen other categories here. They had so many to choose from. Like, I wouldn't mind if there was even Peppy Gals, right? Or Rapid Growth, or or something else, right? So Universe 6 is a very limited category. As of this moment, we really don't have a full team. Man. Hopefully they'll provide us more units here, but it is going to be very niche in terms of this team. It's not even a top 20 team, I would say, at this point in time. Anyway, the super attack and the 18 key, the 12 key raises attack and defense 1 turn. So another kind of disappointment was this wasn't a stacking unit like the AGL, Kel, and Caulifla, but it does raise the attack and defense 1 turn, causes cost damage to the enemy, but it does have these benefits here. So it raises the chance of evasion and crit chance by 6% for basically the turn that you're doing this on. So you're able to increase your dodge chance and crit every time you super attack. And we'll talk about why this isn't hugely important with Caulifla, but with Kale, it's really, really strong. Massively raises the 18 keys, massively raises attack and greatly raises defense for one turn, causes mega cost damage to enemy, and then chances of evading enemies attack by 26% for 3 turns. This, of course, is very important for this unit here, especially if if dodge is going to be your main defense, right? So this is highly beneficial. Anyway, passive skill here, base effects, key +6, attack and defense 200%. We're really standardizing that 200% here. Launches additional attack, has a great chance of becoming a super attack. And then this is the one I misread the first time I saw this. So when receiving an attack for the first time within that particular turn, you have a 100% chance to evade, which is crazy strong, right? So it's really great if you have like a scouter, or when someone's going to super attack, and you can just put this unit there and you go, okay, great, that first attack is going to be 100% evaded. Now, the nice thing about it is if you're in second position, right, you're going to have additional dodge, mechanics that you're going to have. But if you're in first position, you are really going to be relying on this damage reduction. So before receiving an attack in a turn, you get 20% damage reduction, and then after evading attack, which you basically guarantee it an evade, you're going to get attack and defense 120%. Launches additional attack, has a damage reduction of 40% for 6 turns. Very strong here, very strong. So generally you want to put them in first position to really activate this. So you're going to have that 60% damage mitigation in first position, and then once after that in second position or third position, you're just going to really have this 40% here as you continue to dodge. So for every attack performed, this is the stacking mechanic that they have here. They don't have in the super attack, but they do have one in the passive. You have a key +2 up to 6, and then attack and defense 40% up to 120. Technically, you were going to max this out pretty quickly, being that after 3 attacks you're going to be at 120. And then here's kind of an interesting feature here. At 23 key spheres obtained, not 23 key, you also have guaranteed evasion. So I guess if you get enough key spheres, which is pretty much the whole field, you can have a guaranteed dodge as well. So here's where it gets a little interesting here. So give me 1 second. Alright, so I paused there because I saw error in this next portion here. So as you can see, I put a 6 there because starting from the 6th turn of the battle, this is when you go ahead and tag. For some reason we had it here at 4. So anyway, that error there is meet with Super Saiyan 2 Kale and can perform a reversible exchange, tagging there, and then all key spheres change to physical, and that's kind of where you can get your dodging mechanic at that time frame. Okay, so let's go ahead and move into the active skill here. So let me move the 6 up there again. Anyway, so you do have an active skill here if you want to use it with the Caulifla. So remember, there's 2 active skills that you can use. You can use the Caulifla, or you can use the Kale one. We'll talk about the Kale one in a second. So with the Caulifla one, it causes ultimate damage to enemy and Universe 6 category allies. Key +1, attack and defense 16% for the rest of the battle, which is really nice. Can be activated from the 6th turn from the start of the battle, and then once only before or after the reversible exchange. All right. So that's Caulifla there. Again, very interesting dynamic, very new type of unit, having that guaranteed dodge for that first attack there, but not overly strong comparable to when you exchange to Kale. So Kale is pretty strong. So greatly raises attack for 1 turn, causes cost damage to enemy, and raises a chance of performing critical hit and evasion for 6% for 1 turn. This is going to be a lot better because you're going to do a lot of super attacks with Kale versus like Caulifla. You can have a couple in there. Ultra super attack is massively raises attack for 1 turn, causes mega tossal damage to enemy, and raises a chance of recording critical hit for 26% for 3 turns. So no dodge, no evasion chance here. It's all crit. Again, doing quite a bit of damage. So Passive here is going to be, of course, the reversible exchange, the tag, back to Caulifla if you wanted to. Attack and defense still stays at 200%, so I was hoping they'd like maybe boost that up a little bit more. But guards all attacks, so it's going to be more defensive oriented than dodge oriented, even though you do have a little bit of dodge mechanic here. And then when performing, when attacking for the first time within the turn, you guarantee crit, which is great. And then attacking with 12 or more key, you're going to get attack 100%. Attacking with the active skill, or when your key is 24, which I think it's a little bit hard to get because there's really not a lot of key that you're getting, right? So it's going to be attack 200%, and then receiving an attack 66% to defense for every key that you have. All right, you can get 1,000%, a lot of percentage. All right, if you can get to 24 key, but it is kind of difficult to get there. And then 6 or more key spheres obtained launches 2 additional super attacks. That's huge. And then 23 key spheres obtained, you're going to launch additional 2 super attacks. You can go 2, a lot of super attacks. And then the other active skill here is causes ultimate damage to enemy and then key +6 and attack 40% in the battle. So this is baseline for this particular unit here. But with the Caulifla, you're really helping out all the allies. That's Universe 6. So it really depends on what team that you're going to be bringing this to. You want to make Kale stronger, or you're going to make a Universe 6 team stronger. So again, up to you on the exchange mechanic. But Kale is really, really strong, really powerful, especially if you can get key up to 24. So you have guard and crazy stats on there. But anyway, let's talk about the team build, since I'm crazy. It's already 11 minutes into this. Of course, you're going to run this maybe on a hit team here, right? So, but the problem is on a hit team, I guess you can kind of switch them in and out, right? So it's still not all that great. We're hoping that this unit's going to be very good. Here, I just put the EZA Kefla on here just because it might link up a little bit better here. But of course, you can use any of the other 250, 220 units on here. And of course, the hit team in of itself, right? The hit team in of itself is more in line with the 170% with the 10-year anniversary units. And they're like, okay, where do I put the Kale and Caulifla on this team here, right? So anyway, the hit team, it's fine. It's gonna work. It's gonna work fine. But I actually didn't even build the frame or the slide for a full Universe 6 team here, because this is gonna be kind of what your rotation is gonna look like, your main rotation to start off with. And then we need like 3 other good units, which we kind of don't have. We have some mediocre ones that we can run. I think when the AGL Kale, right? The AGL Kale, the Berserk Kale EZAs, then this team is going to become much better. And then have maybe a couple of support units to manage this. You might be fine, but by then, right, the fights are going to be a lot harder, right? So we actually don't even know when that Berserk Kale is going to EZA, but they might surprise us. Who knows? Anyway, let's talk about other teams that this unit can be on. This starting with like the 250, 220 teams, and starting off here is going to be the 10-year anniversary Gogeta team, right? So it is a pure Saiyan and it's Gifted Warriors, so you're running this at 250, 220. But the question is, where do you put them, right? I guess you can, do you take a 7th anniversary out of the rotation? I don't know. Maybe if you don't have them. Do you take Vegeta out? Possibly, right? If you want to maybe do more damage, I guess, or you want to be more dodge oriented. Yeah, it's tough. Like, if you don't want to support, but he does more than support, right? So it's tough to say, okay, can this fill a spot somewhere in terms of this team here? I kind of don't think so. Unless you don't have one of these units, it's really. And look at the bench. It's like the 10-year anniversary teams for Gogeta and Vegeta are just crazy. Another team that you're able to run, and so that's the 250, 220. I think that's the only two teams you can. You can do it on hit, and you can do it on this team here is the 250, 220. Are the other 220 teams that you can run. The other one would be full power. So full power Count Caulifla is on here. And I guess, yeah, easily you can put this as a floater. You can even put him in rain rotation if you like. Because, of course, these units in the long run, get a little bit less effective, right? So, but again, these are more damage oriented type units. They're tanks versus a dodge mechanic here, and I guess Kale can be a tank as well if you get enough ki, right? So anyway, I think this is a nice fit here, nice upgrade. Maybe take out Vegeta, maybe take out if you don't want to run a support unit. It looks pretty good on this team here. It is upgrade for this team, so that does help this team quite a bit. The other team that you can run on this is the Universal Survival Saga 220. I guess it's an upgrade. You're generally not going to be running this team because of this unit of itself, but you can run the Kale and Caulifla combination here. As you can see, the bench isn't all that strong, but ultimately this is, I would say, still an upgrade for this team. But the leader in of itself, it's a rough one, right? It's a rough one. So I wouldn't recommend using this team, but if you want to run a Universal Survival Saga 220 and run this at 220, this might be the team that you want to mess around with. Let's talk about this team, though. All right, so a 200% team that you can run this unit on because it is a uncontrollable power plus pure Saiyan, so you're going to get the 200% boost. Easily put them in as a floater if you don't want the support, but man, does this team just continue to get better and better and better? As of course the leader in of itself has weakened. I would say the Brolys aren't all that great anymore. They're still good, but we got levels to this. But the question is now, where do you put them, right? Because these two link up incredibly well. I guess you can exchange it for the Vegeta here. But then the support's going to be off because it's a super class unit versus an extreme class, right? So, but some of these can boost super class as well. But ultimately, this is a really nice team. But yeah, they just continue to just give options for the uncontrollable power team. It's been continuously surprising how strong this team continues to be. So, and last but not least, do I have another one after this? No, last but not least is the other 200% that you can run, and that's Peppy Gals. It's on Peppy Gals, and I can easily say you can just go ahead and move one of these away. You don't want to take out the 10-year anniversary units on there, but if you don't want to run a support, you just want to have Roshi be your support. You have the Kale and Caulifla here. You can have maybe UI Goku in the other spot here, but you can put them in raid rotation possibly. So hey, Roshi getting a little love here, but of course Roshi is short duration. By the time you're gonna exchange, he's gonna run out of of his benefit here, right? So he has damage reduction of 30% for 7 turns, and then after 7 turns he's kind of a sitting duck there. So not designed for his team, but yeah, he runs at 200% because Peppy Gals are at 200% on this team. But anyway, that's pretty much about it for the breakdown here. Hopefully you guys benefited from watching this here. Enjoy this unit. It's a decent unit here, and definitely a luxury unit for sure. But tell me what you guys think about the LR tag, Kale and Caulifla. And if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning. We'll catch you next time. Later.